Welcome to another broadcast of Marketing Blueprint.
Elevate your business with 10x Branding and Marketing LLC. Our expert team specializes in enhancing your brand's visibility and connecting you with your ideal clients. We employ strategies that increase reach, leaving a lasting impact and driving client conversion. Trust and credibility are vital in businesses and excel in building them even with a limited budget. Our cost-effective approaches ensure you get the best results without overspending. Ready to boost your business cash flow? Contact us at 332-235-T99 and let 10x Branding and Marketing LLC guide you to success. Our focus is on elevating your visibility, which directly translates to growth. Experience the power of effective branding and marketing with us and witness your business thrive.
In the event that you're joining us for the first time and you may be asking yourself, what is Marketing Blueprint all about? Well, Marketing Blueprint is really designed to help you, the general public, to get a clear idea in terms of practical steps that you can take to move the vision of your business forward. So with me today, I have a number of subject matter experts and who will be joining me to help you to understand the blueprint that you can use to position your small business to be more successful. From the bottom up, we have Athena Todd, and Athena Todd, she is a subject matter expert in the field of AI intelligence. She is an AI business consultant. So she's going to be giving you a lot of tips and tricks and hacks in terms of how you can use AI to optimize the success of your business and your brand. I also have Kanchan, and Kanchan, she is a fashion consultant. And as a fashion consultant, she source products from some of the biggest brands from across the world, and she make those brands available to the consumer at competitive pricing. She would go deeper into that, and you will learn what is her blueprint that is positioning her for success. Last but not least, we have Frank. We have Clement Frank, and Clement Frank, he is an author. He's also an economist by profession, and he is very passionate about leadership. And one of his books is titled Catalyst Leadership, and he will be spending some time today talking to us about catalyst leadership and how that leadership style, leadership techniques, and strategies can help you in business to optimize your success. So with that being said, I want to take this time to just welcome each and every one of you to today's program. Hi, folks. How are you?
Great.
Good. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I must say, I really love the concept of this program and Marketing Blueprint. And we see today that many businesses get started, but many businesses that get started, they don't have all of the information in terms of how to position the brand for success. And what we will attempt to do today is to provide them with nuggets of information that will help them to make better business decisions. And I want to start off by just looking at some important facts that should be part of any business startup blueprint. I do believe that if you're going to start a business and you want to be successful, it's important for you to recognize, one, that there's a cost of doing business. And you really want to take the time to understand cost of doing business. Now, the cost should be adequate enough to help your strategic, tactical, and operational team to function effectively in the organization. Now, as I go deeper into today's program, I will further explain the role of strategic leadership, the role of tactical leadership, and the role of operational leadership. Now, if I don't get to go into all of them, I will at least pockets of these areas, and I will lay out a blueprint that as a rising star you need to understand, and it's important that you make budgetary allocation to roll out the blueprint that I will talk about. I'm just going to give you a hint. As a rising star in business, what you need to really understand is how to identify your ideal clients. So later in the program, I will talk about the ideal client stress test ladder and what this blueprint looks like, what that blueprint also should look like. So with that being said, I will now turn to Athena to give us her insight in terms of what is her blueprint? I know Athena, she's an expert in AI, business consultant, and I know there's a lot of changes taking place today in the artificial intelligence world. And I would really love for you to give the public an idea of how AI can really help businesses to optimize its success.
Yes. So, well, I have to say the reason we start getting to the AI implementation, guess what? It's always started with a problem, right? So that's how we all started to looking for a solution. So this idea is actually coming from our clients. It was because our clients are looking for how can we make more, our time available when we're running our business instead of trying to do those mundane tasks, follow up and, with the clients and then, get on the sales calls and answer the customers' questions. So how do we streamline that kind of process? Because majority of our clients really want to spend most of their time are helping their clients individually. So that's what is coming about when we're looking at the AI, because that was the time when AI started to become more known. And then I think it wasn't become so apparent to us. It's actually starting last year. So that's how we have immersed ourselves into AI implementation, learning from the best to the best. You're talking about Tony Robbins himself are using those teams, are implementing his AI, business system, and those are the people we're learning from. Because when we are bringing the solution, we want to bring the best to our clients. So that's how we immerse ourselves to learning from the best, to how to streamline the business operation. Of course, that is because we're in this marketing blueprint topic, and I would just want to laser focus on the marketing part of it, because majority of our clients did not realize they need to build a brand first before they start going out there to sell, because that was one of the problem is every time they finish the building their the courses or the coaching program or whatever their business product and services, they immediately want to just go out and sell it, and then they did not even realize they need to really focus on building their brand first, because nobody know who they are. Why would they want to buy from them? So that's kind of where we started using that particular angle to help them, using AI to help them, speed up this part of the process. So that is the first, I would say the blueprint, the first step one is really to help them understand how to use the ChatGPT. Like most people probably already heard what ChatGPT is, but exactly how to actually use it, it depends on, people's skills. So some people say, well, it's a piece of crap because I just asked something, it didn't spit out what I want. Is because we need to learn how to speak the language of how AI speak. So that's kind of one of the things that we'll be coaching through the businesses in this part of the process is train them how to speak AI needs. So that's kind of how we, we come up with that. But it is the language. So that is actually the very, very first part to start. So I'll just pause right here. You're going to say something.
Oh, yeah, I want to say thanks to that share. You have said a couple of things that is very important. It's important to build that brand, know that brand, and properly align that brand to the ideal client. So getting that brand build is important. I also love that you mentioned that a part of AI, it helps to reduce time, it helps to reduce costs, it enhances the efficiency. You may not have said that verbatimly, but I've taken away all of that from what you would have said. And I know as you go deeper into the program, if not today, in the future, I know you will also expand on that. Kanchan, I'm going to come to you shortly, but I want to turn to Frank now, and I want to look specifically, Frank, at leadership. And one of the things that I see happens a lot, Frank, is that many rising stars get into business and they're optimistic about success. And they have a lot of information because sometimes you find people get into business, you may have a diploma, degree, you may have some degree of experience in terms of business. But I find that there's a tremendous limitation in terms of the effective application of concept. For example, Athena just spoke about AI and how AI can save time and money and effort and enhance efficiency in the organization. People will have this type of information but never really go after it and never adopt it into the organization. From a leadership standpoint, why do you think persons are somewhat not applying this body of knowledge? Is it a lack of leadership exposure? Is it a lack of mentorship, coaching, support? How do you see this?
Well, lack of leadership may be one. Commitment is another. There's so many variables to that. And I like the point that Athena raised about branding, building that brand, and building a brand for any small business. If we're using the catalyst leadership principles, it will involve where you're creating a strong identity that resonates with your target audience while fostering a collaborative and innovative internal culture. And there's a few ways in which you can effectively build your brand through the catalyst leadership. The first thing is that you need to define your brand vision and values. Define what your brand vision is and values. In other words, you have to involve your team, engage your employees in defining the brand vision and value. And this collective effort ensures that everyone feels a sense of ownership, feels a sense of alignment with the brand. You need to articulate your purpose, where you clearly communicate what your brand stands for, including what the mission is, what would the impact you want to have on your customers and community. What about encouraging the innovation and creativity? Though you're a small business, this is important for growth. Innovation and creativity, which is a hallmark for leadership, especially catalyst leadership. So you need to foster that creative environment where you create a workplace, the kind of culture that encourages the brainstorming and experimentation. And you allow the team members to contribute ideas for branding, contribute ideas for marketing and product development. And when you get the new ideas, you need to pilot those new ideas. You need to test the innovative concepts, not on a large scale, but on a small scale, where you gather feedback. This not only enhances your brand, but it also empowers employees or team members to take risks. A lot of people don't like taking risks, but sometimes risks are important because it helps you to know where you are and what you can achieve. It's like a rubber band. It's so much it can stretch and assist. So you stretching yourself out there, taking that risk, will help you to realize where your niche is. And then you need to prioritize customer centricity. Prioritize your customer centricity. In other words, you gather customer insights. What are your customers thinking? And you need to encourage your team to engage directly with customers to understand what the customers' needs are, what are their preferences, what are their pain points. And then you use this feedback to shape your brand messaging and your offerings. Another thing that small businesses need to do is to build relationship. When we talk about prioritize customer centricity, you need to build relationship. You need to create a culture of service where your team is empowered to go above and beyond for your customers. A positive customer experience can differentiate your brand in a crowded market. You need to utilize authentic storytelling. I like to tell stories. So you share the brand story. You use this storytelling to convey what your brand's journey, values, the people behind it, and involve the team in sharing personal experiences related to the brand that will add authenticity. And then you highlight what your team's contributions are. So showcase those stories of the team members. What were the contributions toward the success of a brand? And this not only builds a personal connection with customers, but also it boosts the team's morale. I'm hurrying here, but you need to also create consistent messaging. So you establish brand guidelines by developing clear branding guidelines that outline the voice, the tone, the visual identity of your brand. And you involve your team in this process to ensure everyone understands and aligns with what the messaging is. You use those collaborative platforms. In other words, you're leveraging tools that allow your team members to share and collaborate on brand content. In other words, you're ensuring consistency across all channels. You need to leverage your social responsibility, engage in community initiatives. You foster a brand that stands for social responsibility. Involve the team in selecting causes to support. You create a connection with the community and enhance your brand's reputation. And then you need to encourage feedback and adaptation. Solicit the team input. Regularly ask for feedback from your teammates, from your employees about branding strategies and initiatives. And this collaborative approach helps refine the branding efforts. So after all this, you need to celebrate whatever little achievements you've made. Recognize what the team has contributed. Acknowledge the efforts of team members who contribute to building the brand. So you celebrate milestones, whether it big, small, to reinforce a positive brand culture.
Frank, you made a number of important points, and I just want to recap a little bit on what you some of those points you touched on. You spoke about the importance of team effort, and I must say that what I'm seeing is that many rising stars in business, they are sole traders, and they call them solopreneur. And as a sole trader, the second thing that I want to talk about that you would have mentioned, by default, you're going to stretch yourself thin. And I'm saying this because the backdrop to really move a business forward, moving a business has many moving parts. You have market research, you have product innovation, you have delivery of services, you have public relation, you have marketing, you have all of these different things. By default, I'm saying that many persons who are in this sole trader mindset and they don't have the team that you would have mentioned, by default, they're going to fail because there's only so much they can do for this period of time. And without feeling burnt out, they're going to stretch themselves thin, the rubber band is going to burst, and everything is going to collapse. So they got to figure out very quickly how to start building that team. You also discuss consistent messaging. And I agree, any effort to build a brand requires consistent messaging. It requires consistent messaging. So I'm really trusting that the public is really listening to the expert panel who is really laying out the blueprint, multiple blueprints you're listening to here that can really help to push you forward in business. And I want to emphasize this. If you're starting a business and attempting to scale a business, it's important for you to also understand the cost of doing business. Because if you underestimate the cost of doing business, by default, you're going to shoot yourself 10 times in the legs and you're going to set the stage on the mind the growth of your business. So thanks for that share, Frank. I want to come to Kanchan, who has been patiently waiting. Kanchan is out of the US, extremely talented, tremendous brain in the value chain sector. So, Kanchan, I would love you to tell us a little bit about your feel and what your blueprint looks like. I know you are a fashion consultant, and I really love talking with Kanchan, and I really love Kanchan's story. Kanchan had absolutely no intention being in this space. She studied finance, she studied business, she understands graphic design, but because of a desire to help her mom optimize the growth of her business, she decided to step in and she get hooked as a consultant. Catch it all to you. Talk to us about your blueprint.
Okay, so my blueprint is a lot, but okay, so I'm gonna start off with how when you're a fashion consultant, right, specializing in the stock lot business. Now, stock lots is a very fashion industry is really a big umbrella. Stock lot is a very niche market, you can say, and in the industry, everybody knows one. Almost everybody knows one another. It's very easy to identify. For instance, like if you are to, like, we import clothing into United, right? Like it's very easy to identify, hey, who's the go-to person in Indonesia, who's the go-to person in Vietnam, and things like that. And I started off that way when I was helping my mom. She became the go-to person in Indonesia because I helped her to become it, basically. So I kind of built her brand, so you call it, and how she started, basically how I helped her to take off her business, to get her to kind of help her business take off. So what I found to be important there is, of course, when we are to when I introduced her, basically when I kind of put her out there, because she has no idea when it comes to networking, when it comes to kind of throwing herself out there. And back then, what used to be popular is the trade websites. If you remember the Alibaba times, like Alibaba.com times, and then they had a thing of B2B fashion, something like that. Like they had a couple of trade listing websites, which it grew a lot of popularity at the time. So I kind of thought, okay, like she's somebody who doesn't put herself out there. Now it's so important to put yourself out there. And back then, like branding was not that big, like it was not that popular as today. So my idea for her is, let me put her in a place and position her in such a way that people can find her. And I started listing her in this websites, like, hey, I'm a stock lot supplier, I'm from Indonesia, this is what I can provide, blah blah blah. Like I went on and on. So I listed her in a couple of basically popular popular trade listing websites. And slowly but surely, she started getting found. But I was behind that. I mean, I was the one emailing and whatever as her. That's what I was doing, because she was not like internet savvy at all, or, like this. She was not at all. So I started doing that. And then I started to notice that, oh my God, a lot of people reaching out to her is in US. And then I checked Dubai. And then I started to see Russia. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. That means a bunch of these buyers, I mean, there are a bunch of them in these countries. Now, from that, I started reaching out to I started Googling about, okay, who are the importers basically. And I started cold emailing them. That's how I started. But also the key is not to give up, because there are days that I would send, God knows, 30 emails and I get zero replies. And there are days I would send the same 30 emails and I get two replies. And turns out those people turn out to be really, really solid importers. And they stuck around buying from her till today. It's like nearly 18 years down the line already. So like that's how I position her at that time, back then when branding was not popular. But slowly, after these importers started to get comfortable with her, after one deal, two deals, they start to come down to Indonesia to, as in, to see her face to face and start buying in person, like that. And as that started to work out, they start going by word of mouth. Like they would share about her to their, I don't know, somebody in the same building who's doing the same thing, somebody, they know who's doing the same thing. So she ended up becoming the go-to, because that's kind of how I started, like country by country, slowly, slowly, slowly. And since then, the niche that I focused for her was, because I see that, okay, the strength of, we have to learn what is the strength of each country. The manufacturing of clothing in each country, they all have their own strength. Like in Indonesia, we were very strong in ladies wear. The manufacturing facilities were kind of run by the Korean owners there. They would only focus on ladies wear made for JCPenney, Macy's, Target. So whoever that was looking for that, like I tell her, like, you have to say that this is what's available here, these kind of ladies wear for these stores, because some clients are very specific about what they look for. So I started to get her to focus to only ladies wear first, and that's how we did it. Like that's how I did it for her. So how after we started to get better at it, and the export started to grow, and that's when one of the clients kind of asked me to work for him. And the reason was because for him, I was very good with sourcing, and I would source something, anything I source for him, he sells it very well. So I didn't have to I didn't have to think so much on, okay, what does this person want or don't want. He just tells me a little bit that, hey, I'm looking for ladies wear. I looked him up. Of course, research is so important. I try to research, okay, what I research through data websites as well, like Panjiva, Import Genius. They have such sites where they show you what this company is buying. So when you go through that site, you get to see where they're buying from too, and it shows you the items that they're buying. So I have little conversations with them, and then I start to do my own research of these. Like I go to these sites, and you have to be a paying member on it now, but back then you did not have to. So you get to see what were they buying, and that's how I got to learn. I'm like, oh, okay, so he likes to buy ladies long sleeves, ladies pajama, for example, like pajama sets and bottoms, whatever. And that's how I went about it. So the moment that I started to understand that, I was able to get him stuff that it was good for him. It was good. It made him good sales as well. So that's how he got me on board and asked me to work for him, because he's like, your research skills are so strong that it will make you a good buyer too. Like forget being a supplier, you would be a good buyer as well, because you know what to buy for my company, essentially. So I started off as a junior buyer with him, and then I started to learn further, because I would travel with him to various countries. And again, every country has its own strength. Like I went to Ethiopia. I did not know Ethiopia was so strong in the most gorgeous active wear over there. Like it was absolutely new knowledge for me. So when I learned to see that, I was like, oh my god, like wow, I did not know that they have such beautiful fabrics over there. And that's when I created an entire active wear line for the company I was working for. And that became a hit, like a total hit. And that production still continues to take place till today. Now that I've moved companies, they never stopped. So that's how good it was. So I think in this case, like, I mean, another important important thing is, of course, networking. It's everything in this business. Like, because the stock lot business is such that, like I said, everybody knows one another. It's very easy for you to do research on, oh, in Pakistan, okay, this guy can provide you with these type of goods. He's trustworthy or he's not trustworthy with money or something. Like, you can easily find out from your surroundings, but that's where networking comes to place. Now, I'm also dealing with countries that it's very difficult for me as an Indian woman to step into. One of it is Pakistan. Like, they have their own cultural thing that they don't allow women to come in and things like that. But again, due to networking, they could get me a letter from the Chamber of Commerce to invite me into the country. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go. So that was major, like, for us, because not anyone in our company could manage to access the country at all. So yeah,
Wow.
so that, I mean, like, the networking part in this business is really everything. Like, it's the connections you make with the suppliers. They have to be able to trust you, because some of the payment terms involves, okay, let the goods get here, we check it, then we pay you. Now, not many people want to do that. Some people will say, no, without deposit, I don't want to work.
Mm.
So it's the networking, and how you make them feel comfortable is, of course, you also got to have enough history of, okay, this is who I've worked with, this is how my payment terms were. You can go ask them if you want. Like, I mean, we don't find any problems, so whatever, like, we work well, this is what we buy, this is just our payment style. You got, either you're okay with it or you're not, but the trust has to be there. So the
Yeah.
networking is everything over there, like,
Yeah.
over in this business, yeah, because of the whole everybody knows one another. Yeah.
Great share, Kanchan. What I want to say is that Kanchan is a tremendous source of knowledge, a tremendous source of information. And when I listened to Kanchan first, when we first connected, I'm like, wow, this young lady is deep. Why? Because, if you are having a fashion store, and she's not far off from FMCG market, fast moving consumer goods, she's not far off from there. Her experience, her knowledge really is the kind of person that can really help supermarkets and garment stores to source essential products that the average person may find difficulty in terms of sourcing. One of her role is to source these companies and negotiate competitive pricing. So one, you get the price competitive advantage, and two, you get to make a stronger appeal with your audience because you're bringing quality at competitive price. You didn't talk about some of the high-end companies that she's sourcing these products from, but I'm going to come back to you, Justin, so you can perhaps talk to about some of the high-end companies.
Yeah.
But Kanchan, I think she's a dream come true for any big business that wants to do source products from across the world and to have that competitive edge in business. But I'm going to come back to you shortly, Kanchan. I want to talk a little bit with Athena. Athena is in the AI space, and I do believe that her environment is so vital because a lot of what Kanchan would have said, she was using research, she was using artificial intelligence to collect information. But I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to ask Athena to give us your thoughts on AI, and I want your thoughts on how the importance of AI to drive in any business and forward. All to you, Athena.
So one of the strategy we have been coaching our students has been how to analyze the response for their audience. So as you guys know, one of the way we have been helping our student market is through social media and other social media sites, and that is kind of how they've been getting their name and their brand out there. So we also know short video like reels are usually, I think it was like 90% of the people actually would be watching short reels than the long videos. So people just attention span is so short nowadays. So if you're not capture people in the first 15 seconds, they're gone. So that is but in the past, traditionally, we have been literally just segment the video ourselves manually. We're having a team marketing agency like Gary has a marketing agency doing that. But now, we can use an AI tool to assist to analyze the part of a video. Say if you like the video that we're doing right now, we can technically download this recording that we have, and we can upload to the AI tool to have AI tool analyze what is the hot trends topic based on what we're talking about. it will segment that particular part. And you can even decide that you want to make it 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, however long. We usually recommend our students to cut it about 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and max. If anything, not 90 minutes, 90 seconds, sorry. If it's anything past that, people is not going to listen to that. We even have watch our own social media video ourselves. You can see the drop after 15 seconds, and there will be another drop after 30 seconds. So forth, so on and so forth. It will start to drop. So that's just the natural how people attention span. So for us, we want to measure our effort, especially such an intangible. How do you measure a video? How effective that is, right? Well, we're just using AI tools to help us measure that part based on hot trends, like hot topic. What will be the engaging part of the video? And that's usually they're using the analytics in the back. And then AI can even do the sentimental analysis. I actually have done this in the past. If I have people that reach out to me with doing the outreach, like what Kanchan was talking about earlier, so we can analyze, using maybe a little bit different for with your ideal clients, but we have been using mobile outreach, like we reach out to other B2B professional, the companies that we want to do business with, and of course we have an initial conversation to start and to see, just like fishing, we all have the bait, right? We want to see which one's working, and as soon as we got the response, we can do the AI analysis on the messages, how the person responds, then we will know the percentage of the person that want to engage moving forward, or they're just being polite and say, see ya. All things that can really save us time when we are evaluate our work is, efficient or not efficient.
Great share. You've mentioned a number of important points, Athena, because one of the things that AI helps a lot with, let's go back to, you might be a podcaster and you are using social media to optimize visibility, reach, and impact. What AI does, as Athena was saying, you may capture, let us say, a 1-hour program, but you can bring AI on board, and what AI is going to do is going to cut out or identify specific highlights, multiple of them, and you can then package them and redistribute them out. But AI is so much more. It's so much more, and I know Athena will go into that as time progress. AI helps with you to identify your title. So the title that AI is going to help you with is going to be appealing to your target audience. So when the target audience see it, your title, they want to come to that more. AI helps you with thumbnail and imaging. And so there's so much that AI can help a small business with. The beauty about all of this is that with AI, artificial intelligence, the time allocated to get these end product done is much shorter, much shorter. So Athena is the expert in this field, and I know as time progresses, she's going to go deeper into this. I want to now but thanks Athena for sharing. I want to come back to Frank on Catalyst leadership. But just before I get to Catalyst leadership, I want to share with the public what I consider to be some essential elements of your blueprint. If you're starting a business, it makes so much of sense to take the time to understand who is your ideal client. And one of the mistakes that I see many persons make is that you say that your ideal client is male, your ideal client is female. Yes, they may be male and female, but if this is the sum total of what you know about your ideal client, believe me, you don't have a clue about who your ideal client is. You need to understand the biodata markers. So this is a blueprint that you need to spend as much time to ensure that you understand. And why it makes sense to take the time to understand your ideal client, because you're innovating products and services for the ideal client, or you're going to be providing a product or service for the ideal client. And the more you know about them is the more strategic and clinical you can be in the innovation process, in the distribution process, in the upsell process, in the business growth and expansion process. So take the time and do the research. You heard Kanchan spoke about research, and she gave you a fair example. Her mom went into business. her mom was struggling, to expand the operation, but Kanchan came in and she did it the right way. She went to the ground, she did the research, she started to build networks and relationship with people, and within a short period of time, she was able to leapfrog the growth of her business. And this is what I'm talking about. She identified who was the ideal client, and then she went out and she started to build relationship. And before long, one of the big business players in America just scoop her off of the market. Took her, Great. So I'm going to turn to Frank now. Frank, I would love to have your input on how Catalyst leadership can really, impact small business leaders and that small business mindset.
And I have the very perfect example here in Kanchan. That's what Catalyst leadership about, is being innovative, is being creative. It is being able to empower the business. And I did a research not so long ago after I met Athena for the first time on how Catalyst leadership along with AI can integrate and then significantly enhance operations, enhance your decision making and overall growth of small business. And I have two elements that can work together to foster innovation, to improve efficiency, and build a collaborative culture. The first one is empowerment through the AI tools. And there's one that's called the automate routine tasks, which utilize AI tools to automate repetitive administrative tasks. For example, your invoicing, your scheduling, your customer support. And this empowers the team to focus on more strategic and creative initiatives. Then there's a data-driven insight that provides your team with AI-powered analytics tools that help them make informed decisions. And by having access to real-time data, the team can take ownership of their roles and drive results. The second point I wanted to raise is it enhances collaboration. You see, when you have the AI-powered communication tools, you're using the AI-driven platforms for team collaboration, like your chatbots and project management tools. These tools enhance communication and it streamline the project workflows. Yes, the AI facilitate brainstorming sessions. So when you leverage the AI tools that analyze trends and suggest innovative ideas during brainstorm sessions, it can inspire, as in most Catalyst leadership, creative solutions and encourage participation from all team members. I already touched on the customer-centric approaches because personalized customer experience will utilize AI to analyze those customer data and provide the personalized recommendation. And this shows your commitment to understanding and serving your customers better, aligning with the Catalyst leadership focus on customer centricity. And then you gather feedback efficiently. So if you implement the AI-driven survey tools to collect customer feedback in real time, and this data can inform your business decisions and demonstrate that you value customer input. Innovative product development. You need an AI for market analysis, because if you use the AI algorithms to analyze your market trends, your consumer behavior, competitive strategies, it can guide your team in developing new products to improve the existing ones. And then you have the rapid prototype with AI, because when you incorporate AI in the product development process to simulate, test new ideas quickly, you enable a faster and more collaborative approach to innovation. You have the continuous learning and adaptation. From the AI-powered learning platforms, provide access to AI-driven training tools that allow the employees, the team, to learn at their own pace and acquire new skills relevant to their specific roles. And this supports the Catalyst leadership principle of continuous improvement. And then you analyze the performance. Excuse me. So when you utilize the AI analytics to assess team performance and identity areas for development, It regularly review this data with your team to create a culture of feedback and growth. And there's so much when we collaborate with AI that we can achieve. We can achieve the social responsibility and community engagement, scalability and growth. So combining AI with Catalyst leadership, it provides these small businesses with the tools and framework to foster innovation, to enhance collaboration and maintain a customer focused approach. So by leveraging the business AI businesses, it can empower the teams, streamline operations, and adapt quickly to changing market conditions, ultimately driving growth and success. So as we integrate these elements, it's crucial to maintain a culture of open communication and continuous learning, ensuring that technology serves, the AI serves as an enabler for you, for your team, rather than a replacement. Thank you.
Great share. So, Athena, I'm happy that you would have inspired my colleague Frank last week. So today, he expanded on his concepts and ideas of AI, and you're doing a good job there, Athena. And Frank, you're doing a good job. But as I listen to everyone speak, there's a couple of words and concept that keep standing out to me. And what I'm hearing everybody is saying is that to be successful in business, you need to be market oriented, you need to be market sensitive, and then you need to be market responsive. And I heard that through what Kanchan would have said. I heard it in what Athena would have said, and I just heard Frank spoke, and I heard some of that coming out also. And I really want to emphasize this. If you want to be successful in business, part of your blueprint, or you need a blueprint that say, I need to be market oriented. And being market oriented simply means that you're collecting sensitive data, you're able to analyze that sensitive data, and you're able to leverage that sensitive data in a way that makes business sense, and you're able to also mitigate it where necessary because the market realities are changing. So now that you're able to do this, the second part is to be market sensitive. Now, to be market sensitive means that you've taken the time to understand people's needs and wants and expectations, people's dreams and hopes and aspirations. So when you're going to the market with a product or a service, you are responding to the specific needs of people because you're sensitive to that needs, because you now collect the data. And the last part is being market responsive. The one thing that I want to say on being market responsive, I see so many rising stars get into business and you're market responsive long before you are market oriented and long before you're market sensitive. So the big question I want to ask, how can you be market responsive in an intelligent way if you don't have the information of who is the ideal client, what are their pain points, and how to reach them, but you're responding? It's like putting the cart before the horse. In the school days, we talk about, do you put the cart in front of the horse and the cart pulls the horse, or do you put the horse in front of the cart and the horse pulls the cart? You see, when you start the business and you don't have the information that Kanchan has spoken about, Athena has spoken about, and Frank has spoken about, you are literally putting the cart in front of the horse. And that's why you're going to fail, because you don't have a blueprint that we will call a proven theory. All right. What happens with proven theory is that it is scientifically proven. So you get a high reward, a measurable results, you get predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. And when I talk about predictable outcome, I'm coming to you now, Kanchan, to talk to us a little more. When we talk about predictable outcome, I can go to Kanchan and I can say, Kanchan, can you give us your blueprint and tell us, if you work your blueprint, what's the predictable outcome? Kanchan knows the predictable outcome because she has worked her blueprint 1,000 times. Athena knows her blueprint, and she knows the predictable outcome because she has worked her blueprint 1,000 times. Frank knows his blueprint, which is the catalyst leadership, and he can give you predictable outcomes. So he will tell you that if you want this results, you need to adopt this type of leadership mindset, and this is going to be the predictable outcome. What is your blueprint saying to you? All right. The reason we have these subject matter experts here is to give you the winning formula to win in sales, to win in business, and to win in life. So without further delay, I want to hear from Kanchan, our fashion consultant. I know, Kanchan, you are so dynamic because, one, you travel around the world to so source products. But in traveling, I've noticed that your knowledge and experience has expanded and you're seeing opportunities. And I think we were talking about the fact that when you went to Africa, you saw tremendous opportunity and you actually started your own clothing line.
Yeah.
Uh, Perhaps you may want to tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, sure. So when I was visiting Ethiopia, it was a whole new experience for me. Of course, actually, my purpose going there was to buy a men's polo shirt. There was a cancellation from Macy's stores. Now, the nature, just a little bit about stock lot business. Basically, what I do is I buy. I'm a part of the buying division. I advise my boss basically on what to buy and what not to buy. We kind of make that decision together. The purpose of going to Ethiopia was there was a huge amount of quantities, around 100,000 pieces over of men's active with it has an ultra luxe fabric, we call it. It's an active wear fabric called 32 Cool. Maybe you've seen it in Macy's or something. It's a very popular brand. Okay, so they canceled their shipment with this manufacturer due to delayed delivery. They couldn't make the delivery for summer, so Macy's of course said no, and then they canceled on them. So they are stuck basically with that 100,000 pieces. That's where people like us come in, because we buy canceled shipments, which are still, it's as good as what you see in the store, but we get it for a very competitive price. It's because they canceled on it and they are stuck. So I of course go in with the mindset of I can negotiate what I want so that I can get cheaper, and I resell to stores like Ross and Burlington and this giant retailers basically who sell discounted at very discounted prices, very sharp prices. On my when I was in Ethiopia, that was the intention. Is I went for that purpose, is to clean out basically whatever they had. And during my trip there, again, because I was building a very good relationship with the manufacturer there, I was there for around 20 days. He started to show me his other projects, what he was working on for his European customers, the European activewear buyers, basically. So I said, okay, show me around. What are you doing? Show me the fabrics that you're working with. And over there, I noticed that, oh my God, like there's one fabric I was not familiar with, but it felt really nice, and I thought, wow, this is nice. And this could be something that we could do really well with. And that's how I kind of had the idea that, you know what, Ethiopia was duty free at that time due to the AGOA agreement. It's between US and Ethiopia. So it makes it duty free, and the prices were very, very sharp, very cheap. So I kind of had an idea that, you know what, I could create an entire men's activewear line out of this. And I discussed with the manufacturer. I'm like, do you mind if I share with you my ideas, the color ideas I have, whatever? Just do prototypes first. I want my boss to get a feel of the fabric. So he did it. Anyways, long story short, he did it. He sent it, and my boss loved it. We created an entire line out of it. It still takes place till today. Even then, that some of the designs that I gave to these manufacturers, they were off my head, right? I gave it to him to use it for us. There was one point that he told me, hey, you know what? Africa Sourcing and Fashion Week is coming up. Can I take like 3 of your designs over there? So I said, sure, you go ahead, but you cannot sell it to United States or Canada, because that's my market. Because I'm doing this for my boss who's Canadian based at that time, and that's where we were selling. So I don't want to create competition for my own company. It doesn't make sense. So he said, sure. So he took it there, and Rollies is a activewear in Spain, basically a very big, like big brand over there. So they liked the designs that I made, and they decided to put their own label on it, and that gave this manufacturer basically they gave this manufacturer, I think, 4 times the order that I was giving him. So that company was, yeah, that manufacturer was running on like a 600,000 pieces of the 2 little designs that I made, but for them, which, I mean, it's good. That's why I kind of have leverage in it because of him. So any factory that I work with over there, this guy, although I'm not maybe buying something from him, I'm buying from other places, he would still stand by and help me with whatever I need, because I've basically turned his factory upside down with that order. So yeah, there's that. And basically, like, when it's so important to identify these opportunities, because like what Frank said, like, you can really get creative with the opportunities that you come across. Because of that one order that I created for men, then my boss came up the idea of, hi, what about we do for boys? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Okay, so let's do for boys. boys, so then we did a boys line of activewear because of it. So that became a whole, like, it spiraled. It has its own life now, that that line, basically, like, it's gone from one thing to another. Yeah, so that's good. And we branched out after that to other places, like in Africa. Like after Ethiopia, then I branched out to Kenya, because now I start to understand, it seems like Africa's strength is activewear. So I want to get more variety, more fabric options. So I started hopping around and making sure that I was making connections with the good factories who will be sharp price and has nice fabric. And that's kind of how I started off in Africa, and like it branched out to others after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Kanchan, I told you this before. I'm so proud of you. You're young, but you are doing things. And I noticed when you talk, you're not discussing a theory. You're discussing the practical experience as to how you're going about accessing market, innovating products, distributing that products, and making connection. So I trust again that the public is listening to your blueprint. And one of the reasons I want to really emphasize what you're doing, because only today I left the program, and one of the things that I said is that you can have the knowledge, but if you don't apply the knowledge, you can never experience your superpower. And we have so many persons that they are walking encyclopedia of great knowledge, but what you want to really become is the walking encyclopedia of the applied knowledge. And there's where you lies. You apply, you apply, you apply, and that is very, very unique. And on this program, you're going to learn a lot about that. Athena, she's very much in the apply arena, and she interfaces with so many different businesses on a daily, weekly basis, really helping them to get the concepts. And Frankie's also actively involved in managing the team and navigating the team. To move a vision forward at another level, but he's actively involved in not just the theory, in the practice. Sometimes we just have to break away from the theory. Part of your blueprint is to break away from the theory, learn as much as you can learn from the theory, but then you want to go into overdrive in the practice, the application, the application. So great job, Athena. All right, we are now at the hours mark, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. But as we begin to wrap up, I want to give you guys a chance to give your closing thoughts, your closing remarks on today's program. You may want to give a particular advice to business, small business, or you may want to share your experience. I'm going to give you a chance now to do so. I want to start with Frank, and then I'm going to come to Athena, and then to Kanchan. Frank, you're mute, Frank.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
I just want people to understand when we talk about the catalyst leaders, you have examples that you can look at, because the catalyst leaders today are those people who drive change and foster innovation and inspire their teams through collaboration and empowerment. And they adapt to the fast pace in today's technology-driven business landscape and emphasize values like inclusivity, transparency, and sustainability. Some of the leaders that we some of you may not know, but Microsoft, Satya Nadella, who's the CEO of Microsoft, transformed that Microsoft culture by promoting a growth mindset, a mindset of inclusivity and collaboration. And under his leadership, the company shifted its focus towards cloud computing and AI, leading to significant growth and innovation. And he emphasizes empathy in leadership, encouraging teams to learn from failures and adapt. There's so many more, but I'm just going to use these two. Ginny Rometty of IBM. Rometty led the IBM's transition towards cloud computing and AI, and she emphasized diversity and inclusion in the workplace, advocating for equal opportunities and fostering a culture of innovation. And the thing about it is that her focus on strategic partnerships and client-centric solutions has positioned IBM as a leader in technology. There are many others. Using these male and female, you understand that in you there is a catalyst leader waiting to burst forth. When you have taken all that we've said to you here, it's for you now to stretch yourself and say, hey, this is where I want to become. You envision it to manifest it. Envision it to manifest it. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. And I just want to state for the record that Catalyst Leadership is an original concept developed by Frank. So if you guys hear anywhere, anyone else anywhere in the world using Catalyst Leadership, tell me so I can file a lawsuit so I could collect some of the commission of you, Frank. Athena, all to you.
Actually, I'm really glad, Gary, that you were saying earlier this, marketing blueprint, the talk that we're going over. We're not talking about theory. We're talking about implementation, and that is
Yeah.
how we name our company. Lunch Lab is the laboratory. We practice over and over and over and over until we master it. So, with that being said, the AI tools is not gonna do crap unless there's a strategy in place. So that's why I really like how Gary reached out to me. When we talk about branding and all that, is because AI tool it really had to be based on either human in the leadership, monitor the AI tools, or there's a strategy in place to execute using the AI tools. So without human in the loop, AI is not gonna do squat. So that is how I want to end it with my.
Yep, yep. The human element is still superior, right? Love that,
Always
Kanchan. Love that,
important.
Tina. Love that. Great share. And I really love that you said that, Tina, because I recognize it very often. People get so scared of AI. And I think the fear is based on perhaps the lack of right information. But of course, there are things perhaps to be worried about, but we will go deeper into that as time progresses because there's AI and automobile. A wide cross section of the job market can be disrupted because of AI. There's the manufacturing sector and AI. A lot can be disrupted there. But we will expand our conversation. I know that you're the expert in this area. So as time progresses, we will expand into all of those area because I do believe that AI aided production can significantly optimize productivity and mass production, which can drive the cost down and enhance the efficiency in so many other ways. But I know as time progresses, we're going to go into that, Athena. So I will now turn to Kanchan. And Kanchan, what are your last words before we wrap up today?
My last words. I'm a very big believer in diversification being being a very good, like a solution kind of thing for a business to grow, because when you diversify not just your vendors, you diversify your buyers, you kind of diversify the risk that you have in a business, because every business has comes with its own risk, right? So I'm a very big believer in diversifying, and this is why I like in my personal experiences that I choose to deal with a lot of countries is to kind of diversify my offerings, which means I'm able to offer my clients and open up relationships with different clients as well, from the big ones like the big stores to the medium stores to the small stores. And so do I believe also in diversifying my vendors, my suppliers, because it's not just while every country has its own strengths, not necessarily everybody or every vendor in that country would be beneficial to deal with per se, because again, it's a very small world. Everybody knows one another. In my world, everybody knows one another. So I think diversification here is super important, so you don't put your eggs in one basket. You need to diversify your risk when it comes to running your own business, especially in this kind of fast moving business like stock lots that I'm in. It's a very fast moving business, so it's very important to diversify your risk. And another thing is, of course, now thanks to AI, obviously now the way that we do research has taken a whole different turn. Like back then when I used to do my research, of course I did it very manually, but now because of AI, it can really do wonders for people like me who need to do my research about this, whether it's about the duty rates from where I'm buying from, or it is from for the formalities like the paperwork I need for the customs to bring the goods here. I don't manually do that anymore. Now I use AI to help me with that, and then I will double check manually, so it's very helpful. I mean, of course, things are very different now, and for personal self, for personal branding, and I mean, it's so important to do your website. I feel in social media, especially in the business that I'm in, is actually unpopular to do your own website. So like I would encourage, like especially that I'm from like the current generation, so for me I have my own website, of course. And for people who are in like who intend to kind of be in the same business or something, it's so important to have your own website and kind of brand yourself. And even social media, it's very very helpful, because the people in my industry, a lot of them don't have their own website. And like I was all there was one point that when I was doing my research, I struggled to look for clients too, because of they were not having their own website. That's how I relied on these trade listings and trade listing websites and the shipment websites, the import records from the customs. Like I was relying on all of that to do my research, because nobody had a website. Like it's 2 out of 100 that had a website. So it's so important, especially in today's world. It's been made so easy, and so available. So why not use that? That's what I've
Love that.
yeah.
You've said a lot, Kanchan. I heard you speak a little bit about the personal branding and the corporate branding.
Mhm.
And I do believe that both of them carries weight. And I
Mhm.
see very often sometimes when a company gets into corporate branding, they just do corporate branding
Yes.
and they, leave out the personal branding. And I do believe that, with a strong personality like yourself, as one example, who can help that company to, be better known, be better liked, be better trust, because you bring everything to the table. I think it can help that company to go so much further and so much faster, because the personal branding is a part of it. In the future, I would very much love for us to go deeper into personal branding, into corporate branding. I know Athena, she's well versed into branding, and we'll talk about it and see if next week we can do some talking around that. I know Frank also, he has some experience in that. And you too, Kanchan, you
Mhm.
have some experience there. So with that being said, I really want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. And we will do this again next week. So thanks again, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York do more than just support our clients to pitch their businesses to investors access working capital at 0% APR. We also support our clients to grow and scale their businesses faster and cash flow optimize. Pitch Deck 101 LLC recent partnership with 10X Branding Marketing LLC and Global Capital Inc. out of the USA has enabled us to form unique partnership with multiple financial institutions, which means we can do even more to accelerate the success of our clients. Let Pitch Deck 101 LLC give you the support you need to pitch to investors, access capital, access new markets and grow and scale your business. Contact us now on 332 235 1099 for a free consultation.